Okay, for those of you who've been following the channel for a long time, which would be, not many people, because most of the people that have subbed have done it in like the last year and a half or so. Before that, or at the beginning of when I made the channel, I took a video of myself. I did it twice, but one of them's on the channel of me going into a Japanese headphone shop and taking a video of the sit-down area where they have the flagships, and they separate them by they got four sides, and one would be metals, and all of the famous ones that they've got that have like a metallic outside shell, they have them hanging on there. And then on the other side they have what they call the woodies, which would be like the DX1000, and they had the Denons also, because they're discontinued but they're classics. They had God, there's a ATH series that's actually got wood on the outside, and then on the other side they've got a mix of flagships. The HD 800 was on that side, and they had these ones. And this, I came onto HeadFi, and it's in my comment history. I was looking for bass headphones like I usually do, and I just thought, for the hell of it, I'll sit down and I'll listen to this stuff, because the prices were crazy. And I listened to stuff, and my expectation was the DX1000, because I'm a JVC fan, or I was. I am for the SC, but not beyond that. I thought I'd fall in love with those. I'd heard them once before, and when I listened to them, they had a sound, the wood sound, and I didn't like it. And then I listened to a bunch of other stuff, and I've got no preconceptions. Summit Fi is something I've never posted until I bought these a week ago. So I really didn't have any, images and stuff. I put one set on my head, and they just kind of blew me away, because while everything else had some kind of a, it was recessed, it was forward in your face, the treble was, dominating everything. Bass was, none of them were, too much bass. Maybe the JVCs. But this set, which is the Beyerdynamic T1, just jumped out at me, and I went on to HeadFi and said, man, they look, if you were to, imagine what headphone looks like, a prototypical headphone, the headband and the cups, and this looks like something that you would see in like a clip art. Of course it's really fine looking, but the round and how wide it is, and the balance, and this is like the most generic, perfect, and then polished design that I've ever seen. It doesn't clamp too much. It's not too loose. The cushion on the head is nice. The weight is really good. The balance is great. The cord is very, very long, but these are, really designed for sitting and listening home. I believe this is 3 meters. I love left-right cables. They say that, the wound ones are more blah blah efficient bullshit. I like this. This is like speaker wire that I ran in my car, and it did just fine there, and it did it just fine with the mids and highs, and there's absolutely no reason why this won't do good enough. Any crosstalk or effects like that, I don't think you'd be able to pick it up audibly. I'm not a big believer in that. I use extra cables aftermarket because they look nice. Comes with a the standard, if you're going to plug this in your home receiver. If you want to plug this into anything else, you would need a adapter to mini, to a 3.5. So but these themselves in hand, when you look at them, are just absolutely beautiful. This is German craftsmanship at its finest. The whole thing is just absolutely amazing. If you can see inside the cup, they've got it so that they don't have a fabric cover like you typically would on a driver covering. This is actually over the driver. It's an angled driver, and then you can see it right there. And I guess they took away the fabric material, and you see the way that this is turning. This is really not putting any stress on it. I'm not worried about something snapping. I wouldn't turn it too much, but it's totally fine. So this pad is just like a donut. It doesn't have a cover because it's, I guess they think that that's gonna filter certain frequencies that they'd rather not. Something that jumps out at me right away with these is, and I exchanged a mail with somebody about this. So one of the hardest things for dynamic drivers to get it right is cymbals, hi-hats, and like brushing. They use a brush over the cymbals, like jazz typically does it, but it's, R&B, and there's lots of music that use that. And in most stuff, I'd say 90%, I'd say 99% of what I've heard in the past 3 years, that is a glary, it's a sound, and you assume what it is, and you get used to that because certain things, and I'm talking about really good headphones that do not play that. When I first heard this was playing Thelonious Monk. I can't remember the name of the album, but everything on there was playing this, and there was somebody that was using one of those, like steel brushes over a cymbal, or like a hi-hat. I don't even know what to call that. But you could catch that. And somebody sent a mail back to me saying that was something that they noted too, and that's exactly what I heard too. So when I was listening to rock and roll with these the other day, the detail on the upper end, and some people say, oh, these are too spiky, or these are, no, man, no fucking way. These have a 1 Tesla or 1.5 Tesla magnet, and the reason for that is supposedly, or acoustic science dictates that the stronger the magnet, the less, the more efficient the drive will be, less prone to distortion characteristics. And I buy that totally. That is not bullshit hype. The Sony Z7 said that they go up to 100,000 kilohertz, and the problem with that is the human ear, if you're lucky, goes past 16, and if you're a super freak, it goes to 20. And so you've got 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. You've got 80,000 kilohertz of frequencies that you're never going to fucking hear. So that was just a stupid advertising gimmick. This headphone says that the strong magnet reduces distortion and improves clarity. I buy that absolutely 100%. That is fucking true. These do absolutely play minutia little detail of stuff going on in the recording that I've not heard on anything else. People talk about the HD800s. Let me tell you about the HD800s. Because these were like rivals at a point, and a lot of people said the HD800s are better. I've heard those things as much as anybody besides an owner that listens every day. Every time I go into a shop, they're there, and I listen to them just because I think one day I'm going to get it. I never did. I can tell you that the bassist, because most of, when you listen to this and you've got headphones on, despite what people claim and all this stuff that they say, usually the sound is where your ears are, and then it goes around behind your head. So if you hear a stage, it's like your back is to it. It's not in front of you. It doesn't sound like the sound in front of you. It sounds like it's behind you. And let's say the bassist is on your rear left. You hear it maybe equal to your ear's position, slightly forward, but mostly in the back. The bassist on this, if I were to increase it slightly, it would sound like I was pulling the bassist closer to me, left side, that I've been listening to stuff, and I bring it forward. The volume of the bassist is 4 notes, increases, so it sounds like I'm closer to the amp, or the bassist has become closer to me. With a pair of HD800s, and I checked this 2 days ago, the bassist sounds like he's same spot, but he's like 16 feet in the air. There's this very 3D, 4D, multi-universe type thing going on with the HD800 as far as positioning goes, and it's what makes it not easy for some people to get. The staging is, crazy. Like I said, I focused on the bassist because I've been doing that a lot lately, because it's really hard for a lot of stuff to get. The low end of a guitar, and also the 4 strings of the bass, which goes, from the audible region up to 400 hertz effectively, and then beyond that. These, if I elevate the bass via EQ, will make it sound like the bassist who is behind me and to my left on the tracks that I listen to is walking forward on the stage. Pretty much everything is very, very clear. On the HD 800s, it sounds like that person is getting closer and he's 16 feet in the air or higher. It's really a crazy experience, and a lot of people like that. But if the reference standard is a live performance, and a lot of places that you go to do sit down have jazz or fairly intimate stuff, and I don't know if they do that because that doesn't expose staging issues with a lot of sets, because generally a jazz quartet is in a small club, and it's a fairly not large stage required in imaging. So a lot of cans that might have a stage issue won't be exposed if jazz is what's being played. And it's got a lot of detail and it's got quiet background, so it's a good music to play. Not a big jazz fan, but I can see why they use it for a lot of sit-down stations. So this playing that sounded better than anything I heard that day. I got on Headfire and said, "Oh man, these are awesome. If I ever get into audiophile stuff, that is the can I'm getting." And people absolutely not interested. I'm in the bass, and yeah, whatever, dude. Just when's the next bass set coming in? They're coming, and it'll be here in like 3 days. The next one, the Denon D5000s are coming. But I gotta show you guys this, because I gotta say, if you ever decide and you say, you know what, I want something that's got good stage, I want something that's got detail, of the highest order, that I can pick out stuff that people claim that they can hear but I'm not hearing, that this would be the set that you would want. These are, like I said, the balance of these on your head, the clamping force. They don't spin, but they twist on the head like this. They're very, very, very comfortable. The issue that I would have with these is that these pads are not good. They suck. Okay, they suck. I was switching out some old SC1000 pads for it because they gave me a better seal, and also they made the bass more full. So these are lacking in the low end for everybody except audiophiles, which these are built for. But that can be remedied by changing the pads. Pad rolling is something that was really underrated. Different pads give really different results, and it doesn't matter if it's a pair of SC2000s or if it's a pair of Beyerdynamic T1s. You change the pads on these to something firmer, and you're going to get more bass response. You change something a little firmer, like fake leather, but still soft, and you're going to get a better seal, and you're going to get a fuller sound and also a better bass. So these will adjust their signature based on the pads that you use. There's a lot of people that take these open and they put material and stuff. I don't get into that. Lot and modding and all that stuff. If I want to change the sound of something, I'll change it via EQ. I'm not going to dampen something. I actually did take this off and look at it. There's a giant hole right here. I guess you can't see that. I mean, you would think that you almost might be able to, because through the dome, it goes right through to the back of the hole, and then this is basically screen. So there's a straight shot of air right through here coming out the front side right there. It's a very wide bore behind the magnet, which is a very strong magnet. So the professional engineers did this, and they did a good job. So if I did something with materials or tried to change the size of the hole on the back of the magnet, I'd always be going backwards, so I wouldn't bother. Pad roll with EQ, I can get these to do pretty much whatever I want, so I'm cool with that. This is a bass channel, so I'm not going to get into these too much, but I'll say the finest headphones in a shop, you talk about, people say, can jams and stuff, and they might have some of the latest stuff, but I live in Japan, so I can pretty much get my hands on whatever I want to. I've said that repeatedly, but that's the life that I live. I don't need to ask somebody what do they think about this item. I can go out and listen to it. The latest TH610s are coming out. I could have heard those last Sunday, actually, and they're not going to be released until the 10th of June, but because I know people, I could have heard those. I didn't. I got the Denons, and I don't want to. If the 610 sound better than the Denon 5K, I'd be bummed. So I'm just going to let the Denons enjoy my head for a while, and then get the TH. But I can hear everything that I want in Japan. And if you want to hear clarity and you want to hear detail, there is nothing better than this. I walked into a headphone shop with absolutely nothing on my mind except testing out bass cans. Thought, shit, while I'm here, why don't I listen to some of that stuff that costs $1,000? These cost like $500 now because I got a second version of this because it's got release cords and they did something to the driver. I don't know how you improve this driver. And this was the one that made me get back on headphones and say, hey man, these are awesome. Holy shit, damn, I might get those someday. If I were to grab any of those flagship ones, I'd grab the T1s, and because they released the 1.2s, this suddenly dropped in price, and fuck, I'll pay $500, $600 for these. So I did, and they're absolutely outstanding. Do I recommend you get them? For $500 or $600? Fuck yeah. 1.5 Tesla magnet, reduces distortion, makes detail available to you because the frequency and the playback is not being, overwhelmed by distortion so that you can't pick it up with your ear. This is going to take care of you. This is going to take whatever you got. If you got a low quality file, it'll probably sound like a low quality file. I don't have any low quality files. If you have a high quality one, it'll sound. You'll squeeze every bit of drop of awesome juice with these drivers. German engineering at its finest. These are absolutely awesome. Like it a lot. I just rambled a lot and didn't tell you a lot of details. Driver size, you know what they call these transducers, I think, and they use a lot of. I'm not going to get into bashing companies that don't put stuff out there, clear, like it's a fucking driver and it's 45 millimeters or whatever the fuck it is. I think it's 40 or 45. I don't know exactly. I did take the back off to look at the magnet, and it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of work, man. The whole thing. It's just. I'm so stoked to have this. This is just so beautiful. It's an absolutely wonderful set of headphones. It's not bass head at all, but if you find yourself thinking, you know what, I want to listen to, something. I want to get into the audiophile world. I want to see how the other side lives. Get yourself one of these, bro, for $5 to $6, and take care of them. Number 19860 is the one I'm holding. I don't think you'd regret it. It's an absolute stunner. I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. And then when you're not using it, of course, you can put it back in its very nice case. And be done. It's good stuff. Full audio file and kick ass. Was it worth $1,000? I didn't buy it for $1,000. Is it worth $500? Fuck yeah.